I didn't call the police because of the noises upstairs. I called because someone answered me. And by the time the officers finally arrived, the thing pretending to be my brother was already sitting downstairs with us. The police report says my brother Daniel Mercer died 3 years ago. So whoever walked out of that attic at 2:13 a.m. wasn't him. But I'm getting ahead of myself. This started 4 nights earlier. After my mother suffered a stroke, I moved back into our old house in Black Hollow County to take care of her. The house sat at the edge of a dead road, surrounded by woods so dense they blocked most of the sunlight, even during the afternoon. Nobody visited, nobody walked there, and after sunset, the entire area became silent in a way that didn't feel natural. No dogs, no insects, nothing. The kind of silence that makes you feel like the woods are listening. My younger brother Daniel used to say that silence in Black Hollow meant something was nearby. Daniel disappeared in 2022. Police blamed the river. My mother blamed herself. But the people in town blamed the attic. When we were kids, Daniel used to swear someone lived up there. Not an intruder, not an animal. Someone. He said every night at exactly 2:13 a.m. He heard footsteps moving above his room. 3 slow steps, then scratching, then breathing. Our father checked the attic dozens of times. Nothing was ever there. Eventually, everyone assumed Daniel was trying to scare me. Until the night he vanished. They found the attic ladder pulled down, his bedroom window open, and one wet footprint on the ceiling directly above his bed. Nobody could explain how a footprint ended up on a ceiling. After that night, my mother locked the attic permanently, or at least she thought she did. The first strange thing happened on my second night back in the house. I woke up around 2 a.m. because I heard my mother talking downstairs. At first, I thought she was on the phone, but when I checked her room, she was asleep, still breathing slowly, still connected to the oxygen machine beside her bed. Then I heard the voice again, a man's voice, soft, calm, coming from upstairs. "Mom." Silence. Then, "Mom, let me out." I froze. The attic was directly above me. I told myself it had to be pipes. Old houses make noises. With shifts. People imagine things when they're tired. That's what I kept repeating to myself while I stared at the ceiling until sunrise. The next morning, I checked the attic lock. Still sealed. Dust untouched. No signs anyone had been up there. But that night, it happened again. 2:13 a.m. 3 footsteps above my room. Slow, heavy, then scratching. This time I recorded it on my phone. You can actually hear it in the audio file the police collected later. 3 steps. Scratch, scratch, then breathing. Long, wet breathing. The kind someone makes after running a long distance. I should have left the house then. But fear does something strange to people. Sometimes instead of running, you need answers. And I needed to know what happened to Daniel. On the 3rd night, I stayed awake with a flashlight and waited. At exactly 2:13 a.m., the footsteps started again. 1, 2, 3, then silence. Then a voice directly above me whispered, "Ethan." My blood turned cold. I never told anyone this publicly, but the voice sounded exactly like Daniel. Not close, not similar, exactly like him. Then came the scratching, violent this time, like fingernails dragging across wood. Then something slammed against the attic door so hard the hallway light flickered. My mother woke up screaming downstairs. I ran to her room and found her sitting upright in bed crying. She looked terrified. I asked her what happened, and she said something I'll never forget. "He knows you're here now." I asked her who, but she refused to answer. She just kept staring at the ceiling. Then she whispered, "Don't answer if Daniel talks to you after 2:13. The next morning, I searched the attic key. It took hours. Eventually, I found it hidden inside one of my father's old toolboxes in the garage wrapped in duct tape. Like he didn't want anyone ever finding it. That should have warned me. But by then I was obsessed. That night, I waited beside the attic ladder with the flashlight and the key in my hand. 2:12 a.m. Nothing. 2:13 a.m. 3 footsteps. directly above me. Then silence. Then, "Ethan, please." I unlocked the attic. The smell hit first. Old. Mold. Something damp and old. I pulled the ladder down slowly. The attic was pitch black. My flashlight barely reached the far wall. At first it looked empty. Then I saw the chair. An old wooden chair sitting in the center of the attic facing away from me. Someone was sitting in it, motionless. My flashlight trembled. "Daniel." The chair creaked slowly. The figure stood up, too tall. Daniel was 6 feet. This thing nearly touched the rafters. Then it turned around. I almost dropped the flashlight. Its face looked unfinished, like someone trying to remember what a human looked like. The eyes were wrong, too deep, too dark, but the smile was Daniel's. Exactly Daniel's. Then it spoke in my brother's voice. "You left me up here." I ran. I don't even remember climbing down the ladder. I slammed the attic shut and pushed a dresser against it. Then I heard footsteps above me again. Fast this time, moving across the ceiling. Not walking, crawling. Then came the knocking. 3 knocks, directly above my bedroom. My mother started screaming downstairs again. I grabbed a kitchen knife and ran to her room. She was pointing at the hallway, crying hysterically. I looked up. The attic ladder was hanging open, slowly swinging back and forth, even though I knew I had locked it. Then I heard Daniel's voice downstairs. "Ethan." I turned toward the staircase and saw my brother standing in the living room. Same face, same clothes from the night he disappeared 3 years earlier. Wet hair, bare feet, smiling. I couldn't breathe. My mother whispered, "That's not him." Then the thing downstairs tilted its head unnaturally far, bones cracking softly, and in Daniel's voice it said, "He kept me company after you left." Something moved above us, heavy crawling. Then another voice came from the attic. Also Daniel. "Ethan, don't let him downstairs." 2 voices, one upstairs, one downstairs, using the same voice. That's when every light in the house went out. Complete darkness. Then footsteps surrounded us. Above, beside us, behind us. But there was only one thing in the room. I know because lightning flashed through the window for half a second. And during that flash, I saw the thing wearing Daniel's face standing inches from my mother, smiling, its mouth stretched too wide, like skin tearing. Then darkness again. My mother screamed. I lunged forward with a knife. The thing moved impossibly fast. 1 second it stood near the bed. The next it was at the doorway watching me, still smiling. Then in Daniel's voice it whispered, "He's still upstairs," and pointed toward the attic. That was the moment I realized something horrifying. Whatever was downstairs with us was afraid of whatever was in the attic. Then the entire ceiling above us shook violently. Dust rained down, wood cracked, and something massive began crawling across the ceiling. Not in the attic, on the ceiling, directly above us. The lights flickered back on for 1 second, just long enough for me to see handprints pressing into the ceiling from above. Dozens of them, human hands pushing downward through the plaster, trying to break through. My mother started praying everywhere, and from the darkness above us came a voice that did not sound human. "Found you." The ceiling collapsed. I grabbed my mother and dragged her outside while something crashed behind us inside the house. The thing pretending to be Daniel never followed. Neither did whatever came through the ceiling. But while pulling my mother toward the car, I looked back once. And I wish I hadn't, because standing in the upstairs window was Daniel. The real Daniel, bleeding, terrified, slamming his hands against the glass, mouthing one sentence over and over. "Don't leave me." Then a dark shape moved behind him, tall, distorted, and Daniel was yanked backward into darkness. The police arrived 20 minutes later. They searched the house, found structural damage, broken ceiling, destroyed lights, but no intruder, no footprints, no Daniel. Then one officer asked me something strange. He asked why there was fresh, wet mud covering the attic floor. I told him I never made it far enough inside to see the floor. The officer looked confused. Then he asked, "If nobody went into the attic tonight, why are there barefoot tracks leading out of it?" They followed the footprints downstairs, across the hallway, into the kitchen, then stopping directly behind the chair where my mother had been sitting. The officer examining them suddenly went quiet, because mixed into the mud were long drag marks, like something huge had been crawling beside them. My mother died 2 days later in the hospital. Stroke complications, they said. But before she died, she grabbed my hand and whispered, "It only copies the dead after it eats them." I sold the house a month later, or at least I tried to. Nobody stays there long. Every family that moves in leaves within weeks. Most report noises in the attic. 3 footsteps, scratching, breathing. But last night, something happened that finally made me decide to tell this story publicly. At exactly 2:13 a.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered without thinking. For several seconds, there was only breathing. Vet breathing. Then my brother's voice whispered, "Ethan, he found a new attic." And before the call disconnected, I heard children laughing in the background.